What is up, YouTube? Welcome to another video of the Bengals Insiders videos. We got 4 people here today, me, Braeden. We also got Nathan, Connor, and Bart, all writers for our website, bengalsinsiders.com. Today we're going to be talking about the Bengals in the second round. Obviously, they select Joe Burrow. There's no need to worry there. The Bengals are sitting at pick 33 with a lot of options. So we're going to talk about that. Are they going to stay put and select a player? Are they going to trade down? There's certainly possibility for both. I think the thing we need to mention before we get into this is a quote from Brian Callahan. He said, "We believe if we pick somebody at 33, they're going to be a starter." And Zach Taylor, when talking about pick 33, said he believes there's going to be first-round talent there. Now, when I hear what Callahan says a starter, I don't believe he means this player is guaranteed to start. What I take from that is starting worthy talent. Anybody got opinions about that?
I'll go first then. I think when he talks about a starter, not necessarily like you said, like an immediate starter, like they're not coming in, expecting a start. A starter, in my eyes, I mean, I don't care what they call him, but I mean, Denzel Mims at 33, I think no-brainer. Your pick. Put him on the outside slot, wherever you want to put Boyd, opposite of Green. He's the no-brainer for me. But you also look at starters. Can somebody like a Josh, or I can't remember his name. I had a couple celebratory Burrow drinks.
Josh Jones.
Yes. Josh Jones might be able to slide into guard and, maybe help out that guard room and be a starter. I don't know what direction they want to go, but I think Mims at 33, or to even trade back a little bit, get more draft capital, and then can maybe still take Mims. Because what it's looking like is a lot of these top guys don't have Mims over Pittman as of right now, and a couple picks back I don't think will change much, but give us more picks.
I think when you hear them say they want best player available, they want a starter, they don't literally mean, like you guys said, they don't literally mean they want someone to come in day one and start for them. They just want that starting caliber player. They want the best player they can get. They want the BPA. And I think the way the first round worked out was perfect for us. Right now we have Denzel Mims, we have Christian Fulton, we have Zach Bond, we have AJ Epinesa, we have Antoine Winfield, we have Xavier McKinney. We have so many options. I think personally the best scenario we could have right now is we trade back 4 or 5-ish picks, see who of the players that I just mentioned falls and take them. Because what that does is I think all of those guys I just mentioned all are first round grade type guys. And I think what it does is you trade down just a few spots, you still get that first round player, but you also add a third rounder or maybe a fourth rounder, somewhere in that range. You're just adding more value without compromising much of the picks that you have, without compromising much of the talent that is still on the board.
I think one thing with that too is that maybe somebody like a Xavier McKinney who might not come in and immediately start, because there's already 3 safeties really on the roster that are capable of starting with Sean Williams and Von Bell and Jesse Bates. I think someone like Xavier McKinney might not be like a top priority, even though he's potentially the best player available on the board. That might mean that they're looking in another direction. But also it could mean they're just looking for a starting caliber player. And I think at that point, Xavier McKinney is a person you should seriously consider, because although he's not necessarily a position of need, he is most likely the best player on the board as far as talent goes. So I think that's something that I'll be interested to see if they're going to draft for positional value or if they're going to draft really based on who they think the best player available still is.
It's funny. We all talk about we shouldn't draft the safety because we have these three safeties, but we're acting as, or people, I should say, are acting as Sean Williams is this guaranteed person to make the team and start next year. I don't think that's the case. I'm going to pull up some statistics on him last year from my podcast partner actually posted either today or yesterday. Let me pull that up. And it's not pretty. I'm going to have to go down a minute because he did a lot of tweeting during the draft. Good God, he tweeted a lot. But it is not. Let me find it. Probably should have pulled this up earlier, but you know me, I'm never prepared.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. All right, so Sean Williams, he was basic. I can't find it in the next 10 seconds. I'll just go off what I remember. Okay, here it is. He gave up the second most yards in the air, most tackles. This is all from safety-wise, not defense in general. He gave up second most air yards from safety, most missed tackles, seventh highest percent of missed tackles, allowed ninth highest passer rating, allowed eighth most yards after catch. And yeah, that's what he tweeted. So Sean Williams was really one of the biggest liabilities on the defense. So while the Bengals may like Sean Williams as a leader, when you look, the Bengals are going for the future right now. And love Williams, hate Williams, he is not part of that future. They could be looking at McKinney as, you know what, we can bring him in. We can either sit him for a year, have him learn some stuff under Williams, or we can just release Williams. We like him a lot, but he was a liability on our defense last year. We can clear some cap with him with, I think it's only $200,000 dead money and $4 million clearing the cap, which that can go maybe paying Joe Mixon or AJ Green. So that's a scenario. And if we're also talking about the starters, we also have to remember when talking about Denzel Mims, AJ Green and John Ross are on contract years. And we know that they're in contract talks with AJ Green. There's been no reports they're in talks with Mims, but one of the things the Bengals are looking for at wide receiver is speed. And Denzel Mims, while he's not a 4.22 John Ross, he ran a 4.37 at the NFL Combine. He brings the speed that the Bengals are looking for. He could play Ross's or Green's role. So I think, and he would probably start over Ross this year. I think they're going to be using Ross more as a gadget player this year. And while, you want to protect Burrow, I think we'll get to Josh Jones more in a minute. We have Jonah Williams coming back at left tackle. Michael Jordan's coming back after finishing the year while showing progress, even though I don't think anybody should be comfortable with him. Trey Hopkins is a reliable center, and the right side's kind of screwed. So there's no doubt offensive line is in need. But we also know the Bengals are more comfortable with it than we are. When we look at terms of receiver, Green's injury prone, Ross is injury prone. They're both on contract years, and Mims is one of the best players on the board.
I agree with that. I think Mims is more of a, even though he's not faster than Ross, I think he's more of an explosive player after the catch. I feel like he could be quicker than Ross, with his footwork and stuff. Might not have the flat line, catch and just hit the sideline speed, but in the field, I think, maybe a slant, he could take it all the way or whatever. But even if they keep Ross and they take Mims, really what I would think they're going to do is more run what Burrow ran in college, the more 5-out, have your receivers on the field and let Burrow pick them apart, pick the defense apart one by one. And if you look, Green, Boyd, Mims, Ross, and then Tate, which you wouldn't have all 5 out there. You'd probably have a tight end or Mixon and somewhere in there. But those are 5 really good receivers that you could have for Burrow to pick a defense apart.
Yeah, I agree. As you said, LSU ran a lot of spread style offenses, um, and with they ran a lot of spread style offenses, and Joe Burrow just would go through read by read and just pick them all apart. And I think it would be very wise if Cincinnati tries to replicate a similar form, give him lots of options, and spread out the offense. And Denzel Mims would definitely be a good asset to use. I also think that when you get a rookie quarterback, just this goes for anybody, any team, any year, any quarterback. When you get a rookie quarterback, it's always generally a good idea to pair them with a receiver for their future. Like Green, he's gonna play maybe, if we're lucky, 3 more years for the Bengals. If we're lucky, and then Ross most likely gone after this year. Um, More than likely he is gone than not. Boyd, he's going to be here for the majority of Burrow's career, but it's always just a good idea to pair a rookie quarterback with a rookie wide receiver and let them both grow and learn together and be that future connection. And Mims could be that. I also think that Fulton is also a very good option here. Yes, our corners are absolutely stacked right now. We have William Jackson, we have Trey Waynes, we have Mackenzie Alexander, we have Darius Phillips, we have Winston Rose, we have Tony Brown, and more and more and more. We have an absolutely stacked corner room. But however, taking Fulton in is going by the best player philosophy. He's one of the top guys there. Maybe, if not for Mims, he would be the top guy there. And if you take him, now you have an even more loaded corner room, and now you have, with him on the team, you have the option to let William Jackson walk in free agency next year if he doesn't live up to the standards that we are expecting him to. And Fulton just provides both great depth and future capabilities of starting. And he would also, like I said before, go by the best player available philosophy.
I think another person that's definitely important to talk about, like Braden mentioned before, is Josh Jones. A lot of people are saying that he's the best player available. He's obviously a huge positional need. Definitely need to shore up the right tackle position. We all know how terrible Bobby Hart is on a consistent basis. So I have no problem with addressing the right tackle spot, but to me, Jones just isn't that kind of guy. Um, when I was watching his tape, he just seems a little weak to me. I don't know that he'd fit in the right tackle role very well. He's more of a agility kind of player, get out into space. He's not really a mauler type. He fits more as a left tackle to me than a right tackle, and I don't think that he would adjust very well to being put in the right tackle spot. Um, he was just a little overrated in my opinion, and I think there is some people that agree, obviously, because he wasn't taken in the first round when guys like Austin Jackson were taken a lot higher than people expected. So to me, I would not love the Josh Jones pick. I understand the positional need, but to me, that feels like a reach in value when, especially when there's guys like Mims, like Fulton, that are on the board that are a much better prospect, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Connor, we've talked about this many times about Jones, and before you joined the call, Nathan mentioned it. He just gives some Cedric O'Blade vibes where, yeah, he's this athletic tackle with a lot of upside, but then you just look at his technique and it's just nearly non-existent. His footwork is really bad. He has bad habits of over-kicking or kind of stopping if the defender's doing a stump move, which sometimes leads him to grabbing. Then you just look at inconsistent hand placement. You look at him just basically relying on his strength, and that's just not going to get it done. You're trying to block TJ Watt. You rely on your strength, he's going to ass rape you. Like, that just doesn't work. And while I do think he could fit some of the Bengals concepts, like you said, Connor, he's good in zone and space. he's a good puller. I give him that. He's really good at going up to the second level. So there are some concepts there I'm sure the Bengals would like. But at the end of the day, he's just not really bringing. He's these really raw offensive tackle with extremely bad footwork. And you look at his IQ, it's not that great either. He had trouble identifying blitzes or crosses or even stump moves. And I don't like that, and I also don't trust Jim Turner to develop that. Now, something that is interesting, which could get me a tad more okay with the pick, is him starting off at right guard, where you don't have to worry as much as the technique issues and where he can use more of his strength and athleticism for stuff like pulling, because the Bengals loved to pull their guards last year. Still wouldn't like it.
Yeah, not a fan. I think we could get not the same value, but I think we can get a decent value in a 4th, 5th round. My ideal day 2 is if there's no trade back, no nothing, no extra picks. 33, you take Mims. 3rd round, you take either Willie Gay Jr. or Akeem Gaither. Those are my two guys I've watched. So I love watching Akeem Gaither. He reminds me so much of just how linebackers are supposed to play now. Very athletic. Those are my 2 guys. If they take both of them somehow tomorrow, I'll be perfect. That'll be perfect for me.
Yeah, earlier, just a second ago, you mentioned how we could take Josh Jones and we could plug him in at right guard, and that could potentially, lessen the extent of lessen the effect of his poor technique and poor footwork, having him just use his strength and his athleticism within the right guard. It definitely would probably work out a little better, but I'm not a fan of taking Josh Jones. I think we can get better value with either Christian Fulton, Zach Bond, or Denzel Mims right there, and then we can go in either the 3rd round or 4th round and take a guy like Nutane Moody. I'm really high on Nutane Moody. If it weren't for his frequent injuries, I would consider him probably the best interior lineman in this class. I just think he plays with great strength and technique, and I think the value of getting him in the 4th round trumps the value of taking Josh Jones in the 2nd. And instead, we have that 2nd to spend on Mims, Fulton, trade back, take someone else. Just all around a better and more valuable pick to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think we're on agreement. Jones probably isn't the best pick at 33. And there's one more guy I want to talk about before we end this video. Somebody he's been mocked to the Bengals quite a bit at pick 33, and somebody that nobody's exactly sure where he's going to go. He's probably going to end up going top 40, but that is Zach Bond, the edge/linebacker out of Wisconsin. And he's a really interesting player to me. I kind of keep going back and forth. For one, I love his versatility. He can perform. He's definitely best at edge, but if you're in a situation where you need him to drop back in coverage and maybe you can blitz Bynes or Von Bell or Sean Williams, he gives you just a lot of versatility on the defense to do a lot of different formations. He also makes you not panic into taking a linebacker. While he's definitely no long-term linebacker, he can definitely be serviceable depending on the formation. But also at the same time, there's just no wow factor in him. To me, he just, outside his versatility, he is just a guy to me. He has a good burst off the line, and I do like that. But look at his consistent pass rush moves, him in the run, and him kind of in a linebacker, where, as I just said, he's not going to be long-term, even though some do like him at Sam. He's just not going to wow you. So he's somebody who I could certainly get behind at 33, but he's not somebody who I love, and I think the long term isn't going to be an amazing player. And I use the term amazing lightly, like a guy Mims, Fulton, or McKinney could be.
He's someone that, for me, I would be very happy if we traded down a few spots and took him. He's not necessarily someone I'd love at 33. I'd be okay with it. But I definitely like the versatility that he brings. I do think that he can play some Sam linebacker. And he also fills the edge need. Although they already have three good edges on the team, they have a lack of depth. And I feel like Bond is kind of killing two birds with one stone. You get the edge rusher that the Bengals definitely need some depth there. And then you're also getting a guy that, although it's not fantastic, he can drop back into coverage occasionally. You can blitz him off the edge. You can use him for a lot of different things. And I think, like you said, nothing really sticks out as like a wow factor. But I do think that he was pretty productive at Wisconsin. He has a lot of good traits as far as just he's athletic, he's versatile. I think his pass rushing moves are pretty decent. He can get off blocks. I'm also kind of with you back and forth on how I feel about taking it, but if we moved down and took Zach Bond, I think I'd be very happy with that pick.
Yeah, prior to the draft, I think Bond was one of the favorites among the Bengals community to land at pick 33. But now, after seeing how the first round shaped and turned out, having Mims, having Fulton, having McKinney, having Winfield, having all these other guys, I think he's not really the best option. I think he's still a solid pick, but there's definitely better ways we could go. Like you two both mentioned, I think the best case scenarios for getting Bond is if we trade down and then we take him then. I think just his versatility, as you guys mentioned, gives us a lot to do. Um, in recent years, the Bengals have run a lot more heavy 3-4 and 5-2 fronts, in which case they've dropped the ends a lot off into coverage, which Hubbard and Dunlap, they're not exactly an off-ball linebacker type players. So having Bond in there, who can both rush and also drop back, like the Bengals have wanted their ends to do for a while, offers them the versatility and the ability to do so, which they haven't been able to do at an effective rate in recent years.
Yeah, I think it's a really good versatility pick, especially if you can trade down and get other picks with it. I don't mind him rushing as much as I do dropping into coverage. I know he could do it, but at an effective rate. Still not very sold on it, but that's something you could work with. I look, especially at an edge guy. I know they can't really drop into coverage, but I just look at someone, even though we have edge guys that can move in, out, and whatever. Yatur Gross Motto is someone I had my eye on. I live in PA, so I've went to Penn State games, and he always shows out. He is someone that always gets my eye. He's always rushing the court. He's always getting pressure. I liked him a lot. I expected him to go today. He fell. So did Epinenza fell. I like both of them. Gross Motto more than Epinenza. I think Epinenza is more of a 3-4 defensive end. He's big, just big, tall, big, strong guy. But I like Gross Motto, but I like Bond too. I mean, you can't really go wrong at 33 unless it's just someone so off the wall crazy that I'd be fine with a lot of picks.
Yeah, you know what? I don't mean to scare all of you, but I saw earlier today that Cole Kmet is getting a lot of late first, early second round action. How would you boys love another second round tight end that's vastly overdrafted?
I was just about to bring up Drew Sample.
No, but really, I would be highly surprised if the Bengals are even considering tight end at second or third round. I can guarantee they're not. So before we finish this video, how about you guys give what you think are the Bengals' top three options at pick 33?
My top three options: number one would be Mims, number two, Fulton, and number three, trade back like 4 or so picks and then take whoever of the top 6 guys falls.
Yeah, I'd say Mims at 1, uh, and then I'd say Mims at 1. I like Fulton at 2 again, and then like he said, trade back a few spots or a good amount of spots, and people will fall. Whether it's Mims, whether it's Pittman as a receiver who I like also, whether it's Bond, uh, Gross Motto, McKinney, whoever it is, basically best available that you're also fitting a need. I think would be really, really good for them.
For me, definitely Denzel Mims number one. After that, one of the edge guys, probably either Bond, Gross Matos, one of them. Ideally trading back to get one of them, but and then my third option would be McKinney, just for best player available.
Yeah, and if you guys know me, you know I'm all about those best players. So for me, it's 1 Mims, 2 McKinney, 3 Fulton. And I'm definitely not against the idea of edge, trading back for an edge. But to me, why I was so excited about pick 33 was getting those guys who fell out of round 1. And all 3 of those guys just really stand out to me. So that's it for this video, guys. Comment who you want the Bengals to take at 33. Do you think they should stay there? Do you think they should trade back? And let us know who they.